all live. All right, Tyvis, the NFL Combine is officially underway in Indy. Andrew Berry speaking to the media at 12:30. Give or take, Kevin Stefanski speaks tomorrow. The Browns don't have a pick till number 54 in the second round. Are you, as a Combine alum yourself, as interested in the NFL Combine this year as you have been in previous years?
So listen, let me tell you about the Combine, first of all. The Combine is really for guys that tape is okay.
You had Seller tape, though.
My tape was okay. My thing is who I was as a person, as a player I was a big time playmaker. Like I made plays in the biggest moments. That's who I was. That was my thing. Now, before those big moments came, everything might not have been all gravy. You know, I might have had some MAs, I might have missed some tackles and stuff like that. But when push came to shove, when it was time to make a play, there I was. But the Combine is literally for guys that tape is just okay, or if it's for guys that they're on the fence about. You know, like, is this guy a good player or not? I can't really tell. Then they go out there and they have a really good Combine, and it makes those NFL execs go, let me go back and look at his tape again. Let me go reassess his tape again. And a lot of the times what you don't realize is if you test really well, like say you're really fast, say you go out there and run 4.3, 4.2, and they turn the tape on, but you don't look like 4.3 or 4.2. It's like, what are you doing? And I think that's what the Combine is. But if you're a first-round pick, a lot of the first-round picks don't do anything at the Combine. Like Marvin Harrison for Ohio State, he ain't doing nothing but interview.
No, he's not showing up.
Yeah, it's no point in go look at my tape. What do I need to go out here and run these cones? What is that going to change? Like, at the end of the day, press play, and what do you see when you press play? That's really what this game is about. So the Combine to me is really kind of overrated, but it is for guys. I love seeing guys that nobody really knows too much about. Like a guy that go to like the Mac school or something like that. Nobody really know about him. He goes out there, run a fast time, and now next thing you know, this guy gets taken in the third or fourth round. Like those are cool stories. But at the end of the day, the Combine is really just nothing. Because at the end of the day, you got to press play. What do you do when the shoulder pads and the helmet is on? So that's my whole thought on the Combine.
All right, so this is the second person that I consider a true friend of mine that has actually participated at this event.
Cecil,
yes,
is he a Combine invite?
Has told me verbatim the same thing. He said, bruh, it's the most, I ain't going to say the word he really said, it's the most overrated thing in the world.
Players hate the Combine.
And he basically alluded to, he said, man, I got 3-4 years of tape at Mount Union.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I can do by now, you ain't going to never know what I can do. And it's funny because, like, I'm still interested as a fan because even though we don't have a first-round pick, most of your starters and traditional role players that you see on the field all the time are not first-round picks. They pick second-round picks, third-round picks, fourth-round picks. Unless you're the Falcons offense, right? And so it'd be interesting to see who show themselves that I might not know about so I can, like, gain some buzz and have somebody to talk about when we having these conversations. You know, you still got to go out there and draft players. You can't fix every single thing in free agency. And the draft is typically when you kind of get that next guy that you hope to have developed before, you know, that said player that played that position contract is up. And it's funny because, you know, Tyvis, you actually know my cousin, and he has a story of how the Combine can hurt you. You know, my cousin D. Miller, when he was coming out of Ohio State, was touted as a top 5 wide receiver in that draft. They get him to the Combine and they twist and turn and stretch him out and put him through all these different tests, and then they uncover an injury that he didn't believe was an injury prior to, and he went from being ranked as a top 4 or 5 wide receiver to being Green Bay's second wide receiver drafted in the 6th round. I think him and Donald Driver was both drafted by the Packers in the 6th round.
Donald Driver.
And so, like, because you remember back in the day, you could get to play Diller around the Combine and just show you the top 5 players in each position.
Yeah.
And I still remember seeing his name on that list. He go to the Combine, and everything he thought was going to happen through his process was derailed simply because of the Combine. So the Combine can help you or hurt you. That's what I'm saying.
This is why I'm actually excited about the Combine this season in particular for the Browns. Now, Tyvis, you said it earlier. The Browns number one need this offseason wide receiver, right? Mm-hmm. This draft class is historically loaded with prospects that have passed the scouting grade test in the 90s and up, or 88s and up, whatever you want to qualify as high-end tier prospects. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors of LSU, and Rome Odunze, I believe I pronounced that correct, of Washington. They'll be top 7, 8 picks, right? They're going to be top 10 picks.
Yes.
They're not participating at the combine. But the next crop of receivers after that is deep. And a bunch of these guys have first-round grades. And there's a chance that not just 1, but 2, 3, 4 of these guys could potentially fall to the Browns at 54. And these guys, to my knowledge, and unless I missed something, these guys are all participating in the combine.
Is it Pope?
Brian Thomas of LSU, Troy Franklin of Oregon, Ladd McConkey of Georgia, Tez Walker of UNC, Xavier Worthy of Texas, Jalen Polk of Washington, Xavier Legette from South Carolina. There are a ton of receivers outside of that top tier who's going to go top 10 that could be available when the Browns hit the board. And to see how those guys kind of separate themselves is something I'm interested in seeing.
Okay, so let me ask you.
They sleep on Xavier Legette, by the way.
I mentioned him.
No, I'm saying people sleep on that dude.
Oh, yeah, he's South Carolina. He's a stud.
So what would make you be like, oh yeah, they got to get this guy?
It's the 40. They do the 40-yard dash, the bench press, the shuttle drill, the cone drill, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know these guys are athletic. But then when you have a guy, you're like, all right, let's use Ladd McConkey for an example, right?
Who is that?
The Georgia slot receiver.
Okay.
Who on paper doesn't look that fast. Mm-hmm. He runs a 4. Say he ends up running a 4.4.
Okay.
You're like, ooh. Maybe he's got a little more to him than I thought. Or a guy
so you're doing exactly what I said.
Exactly. But as a fan, that's why I want to get excited. Now, granted, whether he runs a 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, what he does on the field is more important than what he does in spandex shorts and what do you call those shirts? Like the compression shirt?
Yeah, compression.
Yeah, like none of that stuff really matters. But when you have a guy you like or think your team may like, and then you see him run a phenomenal 40 time or jump or whatever, I'm just like, oh, I like that guy a little more. So I'm excited about seeing the second crop of receivers who aren't the top 10 guys. Like those guys aren't going to be there. Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, like they have no chance of being on the board when the Browns pick. But that next crop, to figure out who I may like a little more, and if I'm close on a guy like a Brian Thomas from LSU and a Troy Franklin from Oregon, like if I'm close on their evaluations, well, the combine has a chance to see them side by side. You may like one's physical traits more than another.
Like I said, at the end of the day, it does exactly what I just said. Yeah. Us fans is gonna watch these times,
yeah, exactly,
and they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, he ran a 4.3. Let me go look at his tape."
That's how Trayvon Walker became the first overall pick in the draft. Over Aiden Hutchinson.
He shouldn't have been.
But I'm saying, like, and once again, it's not a perfect science. He had 10 sacks this year. He actually had a decent season.
I say he had his decent season.
But, like, it's not a perfect science, but it gives you more data points when you're trying to evaluate a certain prospect.
What it does is it really messes up your thought process, to be honest with you. Because, like I say, a guy goes out there, if I see one of these receivers or DB go out there and run 4.3, right? I'm gonna go back and look at his tape. Like, that's really good. Let's go look at his tape. Let's see what he does in the game. But he get burnt by other receivers, or this receiver can't really create no separation. It's like, okay, what was the point of you running this 40 time? What's going on? So like,
and there have been guys
at the end of the day,
there have been guys
I'm looking at the tape
drafted off 40 times.
Yeah,
John Ross, who's the guy from South Carolina. He ended up. The Raiders drafted him or Maryland. Darius Hayward-Bay was drafted off a 40 time, and these guys don't pan out, and it happens more often than not where these gaudy combine numbers don't necessarily translate to what you want to see on the field. But as someone who's looking and craving football content, this is what we have in front of us. So yes, I'm going to get naturally excited about it. And
I like what he said though. It make you think too much. So basically, like if this was draft day and you had Vontae Mack no matter what, but you done seen Bo Callahan, now you in your head and you done talked yourself out of Vontae Mack because you done seen Bo Callahan, only to find out his teammates didn't come to his birthday party, and you go back to draft Vontae Mack anyway.
But what is do you know what did Cedric Tillman run? You know what he ran in this 40?
Probably 4.5.
Let me look it up.
I think 40-yard dash is overrated.
It is, because you ain't never going to run 40 yards straight.
Like,
he ran a 4.54.
4.5.
He could run a 4.54, but he couldn't get open to save his life.
That's my point, exactly.
Yeah, so like.
But I don't think anyone expects what they do at the combine to be perfectly translatable to on the field stuff, which is why Marvin Harrison Jr. said, I'm not wasting my time training for something that doesn't apply to football. I understand, and trust me, I'm not drafting a guy just because he runs a fast time in the 40 or benches What did you get on the bench press, by the way?
15.
I wouldn't draft a safety.
I sent the whole thing. You want my number?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I'm not drafting a safety because he benched 225 48 times.
I benched 15 on that, 4.46, 34 and a half vertical jump, 120 broad jump, 3 cones, 703. I ran 703. I was 6.
You ran a 4.46?
Come on now.
Hey, listen, I was going to give you your props.
Come on now.
I was going to give you your props.
Third-round pick.
Name a player from Cleveland that played for Ohio State that didn't run a 4.4. I'll wait.
Where's Malcolm Jenkins from?
I don't know.
Ain't he from Grace Mount?
I think he is.
Yeah.
Draymond Jones.
Draymond did, but Malcolm Jenkins ran a 4.5. And he had
to grade school with Draymond's wife.
He had to use Ted Ginn's practice film to show that he could cover fast wide receivers.
I tell people, like, people be thinking I'm crazy when I say this, man. The only person historically in certain events faster than Jesse Owens, Ted Ginn Jr.
That boy was fast.
Ted Ginn
He's still fast.
Ted probably still fast, man.
I bet you he could run a 4.5 today.
Man, Ted probably can still run a 4.3 today.
How old is Ted now?
Ted, what, 37?
Oh, he can still. Okay, yeah. I thought he was older.
I know Joey Galloway used to run a 4.2, and he like.
Who you think faster, Sean Springs, Joey Galloway, or Ted Ginn Jr.? Yeah.
I got a question for you guys.
Because Joey liked that. Ted liked that too. I don't know. That's actually be a good race. Is that about their prime or today?
Yeah, they prime.
Ty, I heard that
Ted was different.
No idea if this is true. I just heard a rumor that the testing facility at Ohio State's really 39.5 yards, not 40. So everyone's 40 times, like half a second or two up. Can you confirm or deny?
I will have no comment on that because
no
I didn't run my 40 at Pro Day. I ran mine at the Combine. When you run a 4.46 on laser, you probably want to stick with that time.
Time is like,
I ain't doing it.
No, but at Ohio State, when what people don't know at Pro Day, there's no laser. There's all hand time. So everybody got to watch. So you'll have 32 different times.
They all stand around it.
Yeah, so of course hand time is faster than laser time because some people got a fast finger, some people got a late finger. So that's why when I ran that 4.4 laser, FAT, I was like, I'm good.
Speaking of done, and the second's done, you got to
Mom up.